Robert Christian Hansen. A serial killer who was also known as the Butcher Baker, abducted, raped, then killed approximately 17 women between 1971 and 1983. Afterwards, he lets his victims go free in the Alaskan wilderness, only to hunt them down afterwards. Join me as we explore the life and crimes of Robert Hansen. Welcome to Simply Told. Robert was born on the 15th of February 1939, to Mom, Edna Margaret Peterson, and Dad, Christian Hansen. They owned and ran a bakery where Robert was employed. As a young man heading into his teens and beyond, was a difficult period for Robert. With a stutter and severe acne, no girl paid him much attention, ultimately making him feel rejected by women. He was described as a loner, but found hunting and archery as a way to keep his mind occupied. In 1957, Roger joins the United States Army Reserve, only serving a year, before he was discharged. He lands up as a drill instructor at a police academy, in Iowa. And that's where he meets his future wife, tying the knot in 1960. On the 7th of December 1960, Robert was arrested for burning down part of the school bus garage as some sort of payback for the way he was treated. He receives a 3-year prison term, but only serves 20 months. While serving his time, Robert and his wife gets divorce. He was also ordered to see a shrink, who later diagnosed Robert with manic depression, with periodic schizophrenic episodes. Obsessed in getting payback. This would be Robert's pattern for a while, in and out of court and jail for theft. Robert meets his second wife, marrying her in 1963. He was arrested during December 1971, for sexual assault. He pleaded no contest, and receives a 5-year sentence. But after 6 months, he's released, and placed on a work release program. In 1976, Robert would plead guilty after he was caught stealing. He receives a 5-year prison term, and was ordered once again to see a shrink. The Alaska Supreme Court reduced his sentence, and he was released with time served. The 22nd of December 1971, was the day 18-year-old Celia Beth Van Zanten went missing. She's believed to be Robert's first victim. Her body was discovered on the 25th of December 1971 in a frozen lake. The assumption was that Beth escaped her kidnapper, and fell into the lake, where she was later found. There was no proof that Robert had anything to do with her death and was never charged. On the 13th of June 1983, Robert stops to talk with a 17-year-old Cindy Paulson. She was offered $200 to perform oral sex on him, which she agrees to, and gets into his car. But like before, Robert holds the girl at gunpoint while he drives them to his place, for some fun. After he has his way with her, he drives to Merrill Field Airport, where he plans to fly to his cabin located near the Nick River. For a little hunting. While Robert was packing supplies into his plane for the trip, Cindy sees an opportunity to escape. The moment he turns his back to her, she makes a break for it. Robert notices her and gives chase. But she already flagged down a truck that stops for her. The truck driver takes Cindy to a different motel where she phones her boyfriend, with the truck driver later informing the police of the incident. A patrol car was sent to the motel, where they find Cindy sitting alone in a motel room, still handcuffed. Shortly after taking Cindy's statement, Robert was questioned. But Robert acts dumb and denies the whole thing. He even gets his friend to stand as his alibi. Not sure why, but even with his priors, the police never considered Robert a suspect. The body of a young woman was discovered by construction workers near Eklutner Road. She was never identified, and was named Eklutner Annie by the detectives. Later, laying in a gravel pit, the body of Joanna Messina was discovered. And in 1982, 23-year-old Sherry Morrow's remains was discovered near the Nick River. Detectives believe these three victims were all killed by the same person. The FBI was called in to assist with the investigation. They profiled the killer as a hunter, with a low self-esteem, rejected by women, keeps souvenirs of his kills, adding that the killer might have a stutter. Detective follows their ongoing investigation armed with this new information, and noticed how similar the FBI's profile was to Robert Hansen. After obtaining a search warrant, Robert's plane, cars and home was searched. On the 27th of October 1983, in his attic, detectives uncovers jewelry belonging to the dead victims, along with a stack of guns. But what detectives really found interesting was a map with many X marks on it, with some of the marks matching to the spot where previous victims were found. Robert tries to deny any involvement, but he eventually gives in, and confesses to the killings. He shows no remorse, even blaming the woman for the outcome. It's noted that Robert's first kills was young girls, usually in their teens, and not prostitutes. Robert is believed to have murdered approximately 17 women, but was only charged for Sherry Morrow, Joanna Messina, Eklutner Annie, and Paula Golding's deaths, and for the rape of Cindy Paulson. Robert was confronted with ballistics tests results, where bullets collected from crime scenes was matched to Robert's gun. Robert enters into a plea bargain, and pleads guilty for the 4 murders the police already had evidence on. He would also help police by showing where their bodies had been buried. Robert points to 17 graves, with some of his victims' remains returned to their families for burial. Robert was sentenced to serve 461 years behind bars without the possibility of parole. He was housed at various penitentiaries throughout his sentence, but due to poor health, he was transferred to Anchorage Correctional Complex in May 2014. Then, on the 21st of August 2014, Robert dies from natural causes, at the age of 75. And that's how Robert's story ends. Thanks to the Hauer family for the support. Hope you enjoyed this week's content contribution. If yes, then please feel free to show just how much with a like, share, subscribe. Any of those gestures would really help grow the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode of Simply Told.